Earth, the resources on the planet Earth has become smaller and smaller, and with all the energy consumption that is going on, very soon we will not be able to survive despite all our technological advances. And then let's hope that even before that happens, mankind doesn't self-destruct itself, self-destruct by warfare, killing one another. Now let's look at the other aspect of law, the other perspective of the law of cause and effect. The second one, which is also empirical, which is also verifiable, but it is not quantifiable. To some extent, it could be intellect-based, but in a deeper way, it is intuitive in nature. This is the law of cause and effect that is related to mind and matter. It is one of the pillars of Buddhism. It is what the whole teaching of the Buddha is based on. It's based on conditionality. If you look at the Four Noble Truths, the Four Noble Truths are also a statement of cause and effect. If you look at the law of dependent origination, that is also a statement of cause and effect. Causes and conditions responsible for effects. If you look at the Patthana, the seventh book of the Abhidhamma, then you have 24 conditional relations. And out of the 24, one is called the condition of karma, and the other is called the condition of karmic result. Vipaka Paccaya, Karma Paccaya, and Vipaka Paccaya. So, although nowadays when we talk to Buddhists, when we talk about cause and effect, people jump to think that, jump to the conclusion that you are referring to the law of karma. Actually, the law of karma figures as a very, very small part of the subject of conditionality that the Buddha talked about. So this second facet of conditionality, the second facet of the law of cause and effect, has to do with the mind and matter. And this is something which is empirical and verifiable within the reach of everyone, if only they know how to go about observing its workings, how this law of cause and effect works. It is not really that difficult, although if you study Buddhist scriptures, you might think that it is very profound and very deep. I've heard people complaining that it's easier to become a Christian than to be a Buddhist, because Christians, you just have to trust in Jesus Christ and believe in God, and that's it. Become a Buddhist, you have to learn so much of, learn the Four Noble Truths, Noble Eightfold Path, the 12 links of the dependent origination, the 24, conditional relations of the Patthana. Then you have the 7 factors of enlightenment. So many numbers, so many things to learn. It can be very daunting for people who are just looking to find something meaningful in their lives. They have to go to such a, complicated study of a philosophy. And then also you have meditation manuals, that come out in thick books. And then people want to meditate to get peace of mind. When they see such a thick book, I'm sure they will get so scared oh my God, I have to learn all this manual in order to meditate. I thought meditation is supposed to make life simpler and easier. But having to learn so many things keeps people away. But since it's so important, I will talk more about it later. It's actually a very simple thing of watching your mind. Because all our emotional pleasures, happiness and distress come about because of the way we think. How we think, how we interpret, how we conceive, how we construe what is perceived through the six senses. And if we don't really understand how the mind works, how our thoughts come about, don't understand the rationale, the conditioning behind our thoughts, then we become the slaves of our thinking and we have to suffer unnecessarily. Whatever that we can perceive through the five senses, what we can see, hear, smell, taste, and sense with our bodies, are just raw data, just like the ones and the zeros that you key into your computer. If your computer doesn't have the software to read those ones and zeros arranged in a special way, then you will not be able to interpret it. You will not be able to open the file. Similarly, if you are a defective software has been installed in your hard disk, in your hard disk, so to speak, in your mind, that defective software will misinterpret the data that is coming through your six senses, and because of the misinterpretation, it can cause you suffering. The Buddha's teaching is meant to lead you to know and see things according to reality, the true nature of reality. And what is reality? Reality is what we perceive through our senses. If you take off, the interpretation of the mind, the software, it is just raw data. But if you have the correct software to look at this raw data and understand its true nature, then according to the Buddha, that can give you true peace and happiness. Okay, before we go into how to do it, let's go on to